Now, I don't know if you know this, but I've made a couple hair videos on the channel before, and it got me thinking, why is it that we care so much about hair? Not only in terms of ourselves, but what others think about us. Like, what effect does hair actually have, and how actually important is it? Well, hair is a multi-billion-dollar industry, so it comes to no surprise that it is actually very important. So let's go ahead and figure out why. From a physical perspective, hair is playing a bunch of roles. First, one of the main effects of hair is finding a hairstyle that best complements our facial feature. Not enough people realize how big of a role hair can play in manipulating your facial features, making them just stand out more, have a stronger defined jawline. Take me, for example, when my hair starts to get longer on the sides, because of its density, it starts to get poofy and make my face appear wider. When I take this down, however, all of a sudden everything starts to fall in place and my face becomes much more slender and sharp. To prove this even more, I made a video on this featuring Ali last year, who doesn't have the strongest jawline, but even still, with the right haircut and hairstyle, it looked like he lost about 10 pounds or so because of his new hairstyle just complementing his face shape so well. Also, the hairstyle that you choose to rock automatically gives off different impressions of the type of person that you are, depending on your hairstyle. A little statistic for you, people make a first impression upon meeting someone new within the first 7 seconds of meeting them. And of course, there's a bunch of different things to take into consideration, but your hairstyle, your hair, it says a lot about you. For example, the David Beckham video that I made that was released last Friday, it's up here if you missed it. He's attempted more hairstyles than most guys ever will. And there's a clear difference between one that could be considered slightly tasteless versus one that sells sophistication. But why is it that hair says so much about you as a person? And this is kind of interesting. The reason is because hair is both personal and public at the same time. It's the only real physical attribute that we have full creative freedom over. Customization for other physical features are much more limited. For example, muscles can get bigger or smaller depending on your level of activity and how much you go to the gym, but that's about the extent of it. Hair, on the other hand, as long as you've got some, you've got tons of possibilities on how you can choose to style your hair. Therefore, your hairstyle in a way is like a window, letting people instantly know a little bit more about the type of person that you are. Other than clothing choice and accessories and things that aren't physical traits, you can see the common theme between, for example, people who classify themselves as emos, people who work in a professional environment, 35-year-olds who still sleep in their mother's basement. You know, the point is, your hairstyle says a lot. Now, aside from physical characteristics, hair is very closely linked with confidence and reducing insecurity. And one of the reasons why I think it's so important to talk about this is because I remember the difference that my first good haircut made for me. And I actually had a conversation with Gordon Hayward about this as well. And he said that the rest of his fashion choices, or, you know, him starting to take the rest of his look more seriously, stemmed from his first really good haircut. It was from him realizing how good the right haircut can make him look. It's what made him take other aspects of style more seriously, and it was the exact same case for me. Back in 2014 was when I got my first short back and sides haircut ever by Daniel Alfonso. Before this haircut, I always had a very shaggy, rough looking hairstyle, which, you know, I never really minded at the time, but I was shocked by the effect that the new style had. And that haircut is the reason why I wanted to start taking the rest of my look, such as fashion, more seriously because of my newfound confidence in that new haircut that I had never gotten before. An interview I did with Jeff, who's an actor in LA, he had undergone a Bosley hair loss treatment, and he did it for the exact same reasons: lack of confidence and insecurities. After you've gone through the procedure and you started to see the results, what changed?
Honestly, the insecurities went away, as cliche as it is. I was just more happy and confident, and all those things you hear people say were true. And to get rid of that and those moments of kind of desperation and being uncomfortable in your environment, it just was peaceful.
Now, all of this is fine and dandy, but really, when it comes to physical traits, the main kind of motivation behind taking care of ourselves is to impress, right? So what do girls think about guys' hair? Well, there's a large link between having a full head of hair and traits like virility and youthfulness. Also, most girls would agree that having a full head of hair is more desirable, more attractive than a head of hair that is starting to bald, starting to be patchy, starting to thin very noticeably. But for those who may be headed in that direction, not all hope is lost, because it's been proven that a fully shaved head has its own benefits. In fact, a study shows that being completely bald was seen as more masculine, strong, and dominant with greater leadership potential. And you know, I've heard it before, some girls just like bald dudes. Now, unfortunately, it's not just black and white, you know, it's never just that simple, is it? When it comes to going for the fully shaved look, having, you know, stronger facial features, having a more defined jawline, that is definitely taken into consideration. A bald guy with a strong jawline is more desirable than the alternative. That said, it seems like a full head of hair or no hair at all is the way to go, because guys do show obvious signs of thinning. You try to cover it up with the comb over, but it's still super patchy. That seems to be the least preferred option. Well guys, hair has always been important, but in this day and age, it seems to be more important than ever. More guys are taking care of their look more than they ever have in the past. And here are just some reasons as to why that may be. A lot of stuff, it makes sense. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. We've got an email list down below where we're giving away monthly giveaways of BluMaan products every single month, guys, every month, to those on the email list. I've got that down below so that you can join. Thanks for watching. I'll see everybody next time.